What is up, guys? It is Monday, so we're a little off schedule, but we have a lot happening at the house, so I came down to work remotely from here. We have a crew here taking care of our sidewalk. So when you buy or sell a house, you have to get a CO inspection, and part of that is the sidewalk. So we did have some cracks in the sidewalk, so part of the agreement with the purchase of the house is that the sidewalk would be fixed. Now, most towns will just have you sign a paper that says that you promise you'll get it fixed with 60 to 90 days or whatever. This town actually held money in escrow to make sure we made that fix. And normally the seller is responsible for the CO. As part of this purchase and this agreement, we were responsible for the CO. So technically our money should have been held in escrow, but they accidentally held the seller's. Not a big deal, we're getting it taken care of, but there's definitely a lot of pressure on us to make sure this gets done quickly so that the sellers can get their money back.
So today we're busting up the sidewalk. First step is breaking it all up. The next step after that, we would grade the ground. So this ground is at a slope, so we have to grade it properly, keep the slope. After that, we form. After we form, get ready for the pour. If weather's on our side, we would look at roughly 3 days. 3 days that you can drive on it, walk on it.
Welcome back, guys. This week's episode, we have a shortened timeline. It is a holiday weekend, so really we just have Friday night, which is right now, and tomorrow. And we're gonna try to get a lot done.
Nothing gives me anxiety more than like pumping into the weekend and knowing that we don't have the full 3 days to work here, or 2 days.
But I think what we're gonna focus on is this kitchen. We aren't necessarily gonna do work in the kitchen, but we need to go order cabinets and get our layout finalized because that determines a lot of other things. Normally, we get our cabinets through IKEA. We've had great luck with them so far, but thanks to COVID and logistic delays, they are so back ordered. So we're gonna try a new place.
And we've had a bunch of subs come through here, so we'll give you those updates as well.
Yeah.
Called you to check. Equipment.
This place we're going to is in Philly, and we've heard a few people go there. Specifically, one investor that I talk to pretty often recommended this place. She said, good quality product, pretty affordable, so I'm pretty excited. I might miss having to assemble IKEA cabinets. I weirdly find that very enjoyable, but obviously, moving forward, if we're gonna be using contractors on other projects to do our kitchens, they're probably not gonna wanna put together IKEA furniture, so it's a good step in the right direction. That place was pretty cool. I was warned that it's a little chaotic in there. It's kind of like you're shopping at a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx. Like, they don't have everything nicely displayed like other stores have. But we were able to get a sales associate to come help us, and he helped us like kind of like finalize our plan, gave us some good suggestions, quoted us for the kitchen. Just a rough quote. See, we're usually super prepared. We usually come with our floor plan already finalized with measurements, but we forgot our paper at home, so we had to kind of do it on the fly. He helped us create a rough floor plan, gave us just like a loose quote. We're gonna mail him our final measurements. Email. We're gonna email him our final measurements, and he'll be able to give us a better quote, but just a rough quote is $4,356.76 before tax. Definitely a little bit more than IKEA, but IKEA you have to put together yourselves, and these cabinets seem to be a little bit better quality actually, so I'm excited to try them out.
To be honest, I feel like it isn't that far off of IKEA, because this is going to be the most amount of cabinetry that we've ordered so far in any of the kitchens, with that extra sidewall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
EL3460C. It's that one right there.
We're gonna bust out this garbage haul in one trip. It's like bringing the groceries inside. I'm gonna get them inside in one trip or I'm gonna die trying. So all of this garbage that's here right now, we're loading up in this 17-foot U-Haul and taking it to the dump. One trip, one kill, done.
Looks like it's just you and me, guys, now. Kyle's gonna go take care of all the dirty work. I'm gonna finish insulating in here. And then we're going to update you guys on what's been happening in here so far and update you on our renovation budget. Because as per usual, we're gonna be going over a little bit. But we'll get to that a little bit later.
We made the decision too late on whether to get a dumpster or not. So we were in a little bit too deep, and instead of making like 3 or 4 more trips with just my truck bed, we just dropped a little bit more up front to get it all done in one day. And it wasn't even a full day, that was a half a day. So now we go back and do a little bit more work. This feels weird being in the passenger seat. So now let's head back to the house. We're gonna give you an update on where we are renovation wise. And we're also gonna give you an update on where we are numbers wise, on where we thought we would be and where we're at now. And Lauren's driving.
I love driving the truck.
She looks so tiny in the truck.
I know, I'm like, I got a booster seat.
So what did you get done at the house? Kind of give me an update.
I did all of the full runs of insulation, but I couldn't do all of the like half runs because I called you, didn't answer. I needed the knife, the box razor. Yeah. We had scissors, so I used that and like took forever. And
you know where they are? They're in the back of my work car.
That doesn't really help me.
Lauren.
Come on. Shut up! There's one.
Okay, in your defense, I didn't even know this was here until I just looked down. But that's pretty hilarious.
Well, so, I cleaned. It's not like I sat there.
Oh my god! And this couldn't get sharper, literally.
It's not like I sat there and did nothing. I did as much work as I could, and then I cleaned.
Okay, sweet. That's good. Good job.
Thanks. So this is a short weekend for us. It is Easter weekend, and we definitely want to go spend some time with our families. But before we head out, we're gonna update you on where we are in this renovation, and most importantly, where we are in the budget. I'll give you a hint. It's definitely increased. So we originally analyzed this property in a video a few weeks ago. I'll link that here. We said that our renovation budget for just this unit, so not including the exterior, was going to be around like $30,000 to $35,000. We're probably on track now, given what we've spent and what quotes we have out. We're going to be a little more towards 40. So 38, 39, and then it's probably going to be 40.
And it's definitely not like getting out of control. The things that we're doing are, one, they're taking care of our future self. We're taking care of a lot of issues that we found because we let it go a little bit farther than we wanted the renovation to go. But we ended up finding a lot of dangerous stuff, which is, it's a good thing that we found those now before they caused any major issues later on.
Yeah, the increase in budget definitely came from scope creep because, as we were pulling the layers back, the more problems we're finding, and obviously we need to take care of those. And then 2, this is a house hack and it gets a little extra loving. All right, so for where we are in the renovation, first big thing is you saw earlier in the video, we got the sidewalk taken care of. Huge shout out to Angel from Figueroa Brothers. We needed to get that done because the seller's money was in escrow and that was hanging over our heads a little bit. So we had some of those sidewalk panels replaced and we are good to go. And
he was awesome to work with. We're definitely saving his number for later on. So if you're in the South Jersey area and you're looking for any concrete work done, Figueroa Brothers, they were very responsive, came out quickly, and produced a really good product. So they're definitely getting saved in our Rolodex for later on. Our plumber did come out and was able to rough everything in. He did the new waistline for the tub upstairs. He set the tub. He moved the water and waste lines down in the kitchen because we are moving the sink to the left underneath the left window, and underneath that right window is where our dishwasher is going to go. So he got that roughed in. He got the gas line for the range roughed in. I had to move a couple water lines just because they were kind of in the room a little bit too much and would have stopped our range from sitting back up against the wall. So he had to do a little work there, but that's all done.
He does have to come back, obviously, for finishing work, and then we're going to be doing something with the water heater, which we'll talk about in the budget later. We also made a lot of progress with HVAC. We did have to add 2 returns, one on the second floor, one on the third floor, because there's only one on the main floor, which is not efficient at all.
And that's really important for the strain that your system goes through when it's working. So if air is able to easily be pulled into that unit and fed back, then the system doesn't have to work as hard, which is going to significantly increase the lifespan of it.
He also moved a feed over for us in the kitchen so that we could open up the wall a little bit, but that did mean that we had to remove an old feed that was made with asbestos, so we'll talk about that in a budget increase in a little bit. But he did also set the condenser outside.
And unfortunately, we don't have electric to that condenser yet, so he couldn't test the unit, which brings us on to electric. I know last video we said that electric was going to get started this week. My electrician called me, and he's really behind on a couple jobs, and we're pretty easy to work with. So we are scheduled in for this week on Wednesday, and it should be a 2-day job to get electrical roughed in. So hopefully by next time we see you, electrical's roughed in.
And as you've seen a lot of, we did some insulating. Obviously we didn't finish it completely because, like Kyle said, we still have to run new electric, but at least the bulk of that's done. And so we're all prepped to move on to the next phases. We prepped for electric, we prepped for sheetrock, so things are gonna start rolling smooth. Now that we know where we are in the renovation, let's talk about our budget and how it's increased.
It's not as bad as you guys may be thinking. So let's start from the top, and we'll take you through our main ticket items down to some surprises and things that we decided to add. So let's start with electric, because I think that's a category that we've added the most compared to what we originally thought we were going to do. Originally, we were thinking we were just going to put fixtures in the center of each room down here in the main living area and do nothing in the bathroom upstairs. We are still doing nothing in the bathroom upstairs, so we're still on track. But the main living area, we found that there's only 2 wire lines running to the receptacles, which means they're ungrounded. So we're going to be running new grounded line to all the receptacles around the entire first floor, basically, kitchen, living room, and dining room. We are also going to have to now be upping the service, because since we've got all these walls open, we're now having to do home runs, which means straight from the panel to the appliance for the fridge, the microwave, and the dishwasher. We now have to up our service to a 200 amp service.
And while we update the service, we might as well do hi-hats.
Which we are. We're doing recessed lighting throughout this entire downstairs. So originally, we thought electric would come in right around $3,000. Right now, we're on track to pay right around $4,700.
It happens. As you guys know, we demoed a lot more than we thought we were going to, so what we thought maybe we were just going to put sheetrock over a few walls and maybe just be able to skim coat others. Originally for sheetrock, we thought we were only really going to be paying for the physical material and then someone to tape and spackle, and it was really only going to be a couple sheets. Now we're obviously doing the entire first floor, and we decided to hire out the hanging as well. So originally our budget was going to be maybe $500, $700. Now we're looking at $2,500.
And that sheetrock did take a lot of prep work. We had to remove a lot of lath, and after removing that lath, we decided since it's down, we might as well insulate these exterior walls.
Which is definitely another budget increase. We didn't budget really anything for insulation, and we're on track to have spent almost $700, because we also decided to use it as an opportunity to increase sound barrier between the 2 units. So we splurged and went with the R15 instead of the R13, which not that much more expensive, but when you're doing a whole first floor, it adds up.
And then along with doing new drywall, you also have to now account for trim and baseboard. So that was another line item that we didn't account for that is now getting tacked on.
It's a lot of might as wells.
If we're doing blank, then we might as well do blank.
And then HVAC, the budget didn't increase too much. We kind of have an idea of what it costs to add central air, but what threw us for a little bit of loop is that one of the runs was wrapped in asbestos and we wanted to move it over so we could open up the wall in the kitchen. And once you disturb it, now that's a huge issue. So you can't just move it. So we did have to hire a company who's local, who's able to get here really quick and remove it properly, but that cost us another $625. So an extra $625.
But we were able to open up the dining room into the kitchen.
It's gonna be worth it.
Another like 16 inches. It's definitely gonna be worth it for sure.
Moving on to the kitchen, I don't want to say our budget has increased too much here, or at least as much as it could, because we already knew we were doing new cabinets. We already knew we were doing new appliances, new countertops, new everything. We never had a unit that was more than 3 bedrooms before. So we're used to designing and creating spaces for families or people who are going to stay in a 3-bedroom. Well, this is 5-bedroom. And yes, we'll be staying here first, but it will be a rental afterwards. So we did have to increase some things, like pantry size. Normally we just do an L-shaped kitchen, but here we decided to also add a pantry and a wet bar area because you just need more storage.
The way that the kitchen's set up right now, if we only utilize the L-shaped kitchen, the range, the dishwasher, under the sink isn't really, you know, for food and things like that. That is all cabinet space that can't be utilized. So for a 5-bedroom, they definitely, if they were tenants walking this place and they're with a family, there's like no place for pots, pans, things like that.
And another area where we'd have to increase, given the size of the space, is a refrigerator. We normally do 30-inch wide top freezer fridges. That's not going to cut it if you have a family in here. So we're opting to go with a larger like French door fridge, and those are more expensive, so that's an increase as well. So the kitchen probably increased in budget by like another $1,000.
Yeah. And the last room is the bathroom. Now, I know that I spent about an hour just like staring this thing down and like really giving it the stink eye, because
which is never a good thing. Let me just tell you something about Kyle. If you catch him staring at something, it usually is going to be followed up with some sort of sentence that means we have to do more work. He just stares at thing and goes, you want to know what we should do? Or you want to know what we're going to do? And before you know it, the whole bathroom's gutted. Because originally our plan for upstairs is we were just going to replace
the toilet and the surround.
We were going to keep the tub, keep the floor, keep the vanity. Yeah. You guys know what it looks like. It's empty.
Yeah, I'm not really good at looking at something and saying, okay, we've got these new things over here. I'm just going to do this, you know,
there's no just gonna
very like minimal job in here and it's going to look just okay. We're definitely in a nicer market. We're going to live here for approximately 3 years. Like, I'm not cool with just having like an okay bathroom. Like, I want to make it beautiful like the rest of the house is going to be. So,
and I'm glad you did it, because it obviously, by taking up those things, we found a lot of potential future issues, and we're very big on taking care of our future selves. I'd rather spend the money up front now than have issues down the line.
Absolutely. And then, for example, the nail through the water line. I mean, that
you wouldn't have that.
We would have never found that if we didn't pull the tub. That absolutely would have been a problem 6, 7, 8 months down the line when that nail corroded out enough to release that water. So we saved ourselves some water issues in the kitchen. I pulled the subfloor up and found that really dangerous electric line that we were able to replace, and that was a huge hazard.
And the back pitch.
And the back pitch on the waistline. The waistline was back pitched almost 1.5 inches to 2 inches, which was significant. So finding those hazards now saves us a lot of problems later on. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have a brand new bathroom. So who can be mad at that?
Yeah. Another area is flooring. We honestly thought, or at least I honestly thought, I feel like you never assume. I honestly thought that we were going to refinish these hardwoods on the first floor.
Yeah. We'll refinish that.
Obviously we could, but after seeing the condition, seeing the crappy patchwork they did, we're just choosing to go with LVP. It's a better long-term investment for us. They're more durable.
It's the age-old debate, and we get the question all the time. A 3/4 hardwood, keep it and refinish it, or do the waterproof vinyl. And in doing these places now for a while, my opinion is definitely to go with the waterproof vinyl. I mean, the surface is harder than 3/4 hardwood. 3/4 hardwood is softer, so it's going to gouge, it's going to scratch. You're going to have to refinish it at some point. a lot sooner than you're going to have to replace waterproof vinyl. And when you have to replace the vinyl, you just basically roll the floor up and then just lay all new down. I mean, it's the reason why you don't lay it underneath cabinetry and things like that. So, you know, I'm with waterproof vinyl all the time. So that's why I'm very happy. Again, categorized as taking care of our future self, lay that waterproof vinyl now.
We originally budgeted around $500 just for their finishing material because we were going to be DIYing it, and now we're probably looking around $3,000 for new flooring. Again, we're saving the cost because we're laying it, right? These overages could be so much worse if we were hiring all of this out, but we're able to kind of...
And that's what, we get asked that all the time, you know, how much are we actually saving doing it ourselves? And it's going to be in these finishes, hanging the cabinetry, doing the flooring, doing all the trim and baseboard, that you're going to save a lot of money. Hanging the doors, I'm going to be replacing this front door, I'll show you guys, but it's going to be all that sort of stuff that's going to add up and, you know, add up to a lot of savings.
So, scope creep's real, budget's increasing, we're okay with it.
Yeah, we're not that far off, and especially for a house hack where we are okay kind of creeping away from our original budget, where we're not using somebody else's money and, you know, the deal depends upon us staying on budget. It's very easy for us to kind of like allow things to go and do nicer finishes that we like a little bit better. That's actually really not bad.
So it is Easter weekend. We're gonna go spend some time with our family. If you wanna come along with us on this adventure, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button to lock it in.
And comment below and let us know what project you went most over budget on.
Ooh, yeah, and you better include that number. I wanna know how much.
Real numbers.
Yeah.
Don't go round and down. I want to know the real number.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.